This video will just be me working out some of these examples. What you might want to do is grab these examples out of the PowerPoint and try them yourself first, and then check back to the video to see if your solutions were correct. All right, so I'm going to do 6, 7, and 8. All right, for number 6, I got a 15x to the fourth minus 4x squared minus 4. So I guess I could do this by guess and check, or I could do it by the AC method. I'll do it by the AC method just for demonstration purposes. So for number 6, I'm looking for the product of 15 and negative 4, right? There's my A, there's my C. 15 times negative 4 is negative 60. So two numbers have to multiply to be negative 60 and add up to be negative 4. So before I go trying every possible combination on Earth, what do I know? I know the two signs have to be different, because multiplying two numbers and getting a negative will give me different signs. I also know that the negative has to be larger, and that they have to be close together, right? If they have to add up to be negative 4, the difference between the two factors is going to be relatively small. It's not like 60 and 1 would work, or 30 and 2. Those are way too far apart. So what kinds of factors of 60 are kind of close together? Again, not 1 and 60, not 2 and 30, not 3 and 20, right? All these are factors of 60. 4 and 15, no, they're too far apart. 5 and 12, they're too far apart. Oh, 6 and 10. So let's make the 10 negative and the 6 positive. Negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. Good. Negative 10 times 6 is negative 60. So I'm going to rewrite this term in the middle here, the negative 4x squared. It's 15x to the fourth plus 6x squared minus 10x squared minus 4. Now, do you have to do it in that order? No. You could do the negative 10x squared plus 6x squared. We'll just get different factors the first round, but when we get done, we'll both have the same answer. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you switch those two around. You can. In fact, in this case, it would make it a little bit simpler because you'll end up with a positive where the two factors break. All right, so I'm going to group the first two together. I'm going to put a plus sign, group the second two together. In the first group of factors, they both have an x squared in common, and they both have a 3 in common. So if I pull out a 3x squared, and then take 15 divided by 3, I get 5. X to the fourth divided by x squared is x squared. 6x squared divided by 3x squared is 2. In the second case, look, the two factors are both negative, but the 5x squared and the 2 are both positive. So my guess is I should pull out a negative. So let's pull out a negative 2. Negative 10 divided by negative 2 is 5. X squared divided by 1 is x squared. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is plus 2. And look at that, I'm just about done. 5x squared plus 2 is one of the terms. The other is what's left, that 3x squared and that minus 2. All right, FOIL it back, you should get back what you started. 15x squared minus 10 plus 6 is minus 4x squared, and the last two terms give us negative 4. All right, 7 and 8 both have a little twist to them. Not terribly big, but worth taking a look at. So for number 7, first thing we always look for is a common factor. And none of these so far have had a common factor, except would you look at that, number 7 has a common factor. Between a 10, a 35, and a 20, they're all divisible by 5. I mean, I could list out the factors of each one, but if you can see it, it's probably not necessary. So if I pull a 5 out of everything, 10 divided by 5 is 2. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, with the correct signs, I get 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. Now that I've done that, now the inside looks kind of easy to factor by guess and check. Because the only factors of 2x squared are 2x and x. Now the question becomes, what do I do with those factors of negative 4? Well, I could have a negative 4 and a 1. Do you think that's going to work? How about a 1 and a negative 4? Let's try that. 1, negative 4. Gives me a 2x squared minus 8x minus 1x. But look at this. Now my last terms don't work out. Oops, what did I do? I forgot to make that a positive. And I found out when I went to go check my answer and it didn't work. Try it again. 2x squared minus 8x plus 1x is minus 7x. Good, got that middle term. Positive 1 times negative 4. Now it works. So this is how I write my answer. Leave that 5 on the outside, right? That's what we pulled out as our common factor. And then the two binomials that remain, that's our answer. All right, if you worked out number 8, let's take a look at that one. Again, I see a common factor. I see several common factors. Obviously, every term has an x in it. The other thing, too, is it might make it easier if that first term was positive. So I'm going to pull out an x from both terms, or from all three terms. I'm going to pull out a negative 1. But look at 45, 96, and 48. Are there common factors between them? I say there's at least a 3. Remember the old trick, if you add the digits together and the sum is divisible by 3, then they're all divisible by 3, right? So 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15, 4 plus 8 is 12. Each of those is divisible by 3, so I'm going to pull out a 3. So I'm going to pull out an x, a negative 1, and a 3. All right, so we're going to pull out a negative 3x. So I'm going to put a negative 3x on the outside, and then every term in here is going to be divided by negative 3 and x. So negative 45 divided by negative 3 is positive 15. I got an x squared. 96 divided by negative 3 is going to give me a negative. Let's see. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So minus 32x. And then negative 48 divided by negative 3 is a positive 16. And then x divided by x is just 1. So here's what I get. 15x squared minus 32x plus 16. Before I keep going, let's double check and make sure I did this right. The negative became a positive. The positive became a negative. The negative became a positive, right? You don't want to do this whole thing and then find out you're off by one sign. You got to go back because nothing works. All right, I'm going to grab a calculator here. 15 times 16. So I want the product of the A and the C. That gives me positive 240. So I need two numbers that multiply to be 240 and add up to be negative 32. So what that tells me is both factors are going to be negative, right? If I multiply things to be a positive 240, that means that both factors are the same. If they add up to negative 32, then that means both factors are negative. So what can we think of? I mean, 24 and 10 seems like a good spot to start. We said both negative. Negative 24 plus negative 10 is negative 34. We're really, really close, but not quite. How about 8? Do you think 8 would work? Let's take 240 and divide it by 8. That gives me a 30. So a negative 30 and a negative 8. No, I'm going the wrong direction. So I want numbers then that are closer together. So now how about, I don't know, dividing by 12? Take 240 and divide it by 12, and I get 20. So 20 times 12, actually negative 20 times negative 12. Negative 20 times negative 12 gives me 240. Negative 20 plus negative 12 gives me negative 32, which is perfect. So I want you to see my thought process a little bit as to how I did this with the numbers that were this big. I really don't want to start with like 1 and 240, 2 and 120, and work my way all the way up there. So I start in the middle, okay? If the negative 34 is close but it doesn't work, try other factors. Oh, I'm picking factors that are further apart from each other and the difference is getting bigger. I want it to go the other way, so pick factors that are closer together. Which means then I can write this as 15x squared minus 20x minus 12x plus 16. I still have that negative 3x on the outside. I'm going to group these two together. I'm going to group those two together. All right. Carry down that negative 3x. In the first set of terms, 15x squared and minus 20x, I can pull out a 5 and an x. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, so I get a 3x. Negative 20x divided by 5x is negative 4. Right, between the 12x and the 16, I'm going to pull out a negative 4. Negative 12x divided by negative 4 is going to be a 3x. 16 divided by negative 4 is going to give me a minus 4. Okay. And the last little space we have, we'll finish this up. So we get a negative 3x that carries itself down. Both terms have a 3x minus 4. And then what's left is a 5x minus 4. And that's my answer. So don't lose that negative 3x from all the way at the very beginning. That comes down as part of your final answer. And then once you've pulled that out, yeah, right, in this one the numbers got a little bit crazy. But at the end, that AC method really helps us to narrow down the possible factors. And then once we have those factors, we split that negative 32x into negative 20x minus 12x, and then carry on factoring by grouping. Be careful of that negative sign before the 12x. I pulled that negative out, and I ended up with two factors over the same. And in the end, there's my answer. Negative 3x, 3x minus 4, 5x minus 4. And that's it.